So we're going to start with our kneeling series, but modification, if you're not looking to kneel on hands and knees, would be to use the chair. So let's go ahead. We're going to go to that forward fold position. What I want you to focus on is that arm position first. So when you're on all fours, whether you're kneeling or you're using the chair, you're going to push those arms forward so that the scapula moves forward underneath the armpit. So it's rotating towards your hand. So when I'm in that position with both hands on the chair, both hands, I'm in that standing position. I want to make sure I'm pushing through the palm of the hand so that the scapula is moving towards my hand and underneath my armpit. That will create a more stable platform and less pressure on the wrist. So we're going to start here in our cat-cow. So just give me an inhale and then exhale into cat. Inhale, lift, cat. Exhale, cat. Inhale, lift, cow. Exhale, and then inhale. And inhale. Exhaling as you go through cow. Inhale. And then exhale. Good. One more inhale, cow. And then exhale, cat. Find your neutral position. From here, we're going to go right into that bird dog. So we're going to start with a single leg extended behind us. We're going to go lift that leg up. You want to make sure your standing leg is in line with your ankle, that you're not trying to sit too far back or lean too far forward on your hands. So your weight is literally plumb line from hip to ankle. In that position, you're going to lift that leg as high as you can control, making sure that the hip is level with the floor. From here, if you have that control, you're going to extend your opposite arm. You're going to turn the thumb up, palm is going to face inward towards the chair. Now, if that's too challenging at this time, stick with just the leg extension. If you want to work on that arm extension, you can have both legs down and practice the arm extension. And then once you have both the arm and the leg feeling comfortable, you can add the two together. Let's go try that again on the other side. Again, let's just go back to our cat-cow. So we're going to exhale, cat, inhale, cow, exhale, cat, inhale, cow. Good. Exhale, cat, inhale, cow. One more. Exhale, cat, inhale, cow. Hold that stretch for just a moment, lengthening from the navel to the chest. Bring it back to your neutral. Let's extend that back, that opposite leg behind. Again, we're standing so that that hip and that ankle are aligned. Don't try to sit back. Try not to lean forward into the hands. When you go to lift that leg up, you're going to make sure you're engaging the core, and the body is pulling forward long. Spine is long. You're pulling from the crown of the head. Remember, we want the hips level, so this extended leg, I'm going to lift it as far as I can keep my hips parallel to the floor. Good. If I'm comfortable here, I can take and add in that extended arm, my thumb up. If I don't feel comfortable in this position, I can bring that hand back down. If I want to work on just that single arm extension, I'm going to extend the arm. Once I feel comfortable again with both arm extension, leg extension, I can combine that, and I've got a nice bird dog position. Your goal this month is to work on finding this bird dog position and sustaining that position for a period of time. Bring that hand down. From here, we're going to bring your opposite leg back, and we're just going to tap out, tap in, tap out, tap in. That standing leg remains aligned with the ankle. It's tap out, tap, side to side. So I'm going to extend, tap, extend, tap, extend, tap. So I'm just going opposite side of the mat, opposite side of the mat. I'm always coming back to that extended leg position. Lifting it up, tapping it over. Working to stabilize on my standing leg. Give me one more each side. Good. And then from here, you're going to extend that leg. draw the knee in toward the chest. So just bring the knee towards the nose. My knee is not touching my nose. I'm just drawing the knee into the body, and then I'm going to extend out. Draw in, extend out. Note that when I draw that knee in, my standing leg, I have a slight bend to it. That's fine. Extend out. Focus here as you come in. You're moving more towards a cat position, rounding the back. As you extend, you're going into full extension. So you're not moving the cow, but you are rounding to cat and extending back. If that's a challenge, you could just take it here, extend and maybe lift, bringing the toe down, come in, tap it back, and lift. Do what works for you. So you're going to know where your strength and your capability are. You're really working your standing leg as a stabilizer and your shoulders as a stabilizer, and then your core is working, and your working leg is actually working at the hip. Extend, hold. Good. So we've been working on this idea of our warrior pose. So you can extend one arm, and then you can extend the other. If that's too hard, keep a hand down or both hands down. Bring it back to center. We're going to go to the opposite leg. Tap that foot back. Again, it's tapping across, up, and out. So just making sure you're hitting one side of the mat, up, and then out. Up, and then out. Good. Remember, do what works for you. So if you need to have a break off this position for a while, stop the video, and give yourself a rest, and then pick it up. You're trying to build your strength, and everybody is at a different place and a different fitness level. So just respect where you're at and work with that. So remember, we're lifting all the way back up, keeping this alignment, maintaining that hip in line with the ankle as we tap from side to side. You're working both your standing leg and your working leg and those shoulders. Good. Give me just one more each side. So lifting up, tap, cross, up, tap, side. Bring that leg out. We're going to draw the knee toward the chest, moving towards our cat, and then push back, extend. Drawing the knee toward the chest and extend. So as we draw the knee toward the chest, we're moving into a cat position. Then we're coming into neutral. Drawing in and pushing out. And notice when I'm standing, my knee is slightly bent as I draw that knee into my chest. And then I try to go more extension as I extend that leg, my extended leg back behind me. Again, another modification might be to tap in between, going tuck, tap, lift, based on what your capabilities are. You're going to start feeling this standing leg. We've been working a lot of hip. Remember, our goal, our challenge this month is let's strengthen those hips. You got to put some effort in to get something out. Give me one more, and then hold. See if you can extend one arm. You're back to your bird dog position. We're going to try, if you feel up to it, going right into your warrior pose, which is two arms extended. If you're not comfortable with that, keep just one hand down. If you need both hands down, that's fine. Bring it on in and come on up. Okay, so that's doing bird dog series with the chair. Your other option would have been kneeling. You see more of that in yesterday's video. So now I'm going to move to our side line work that we did yesterday. And in yesterday's video, I was in a side position, kneeling one leg extended out. Many people do not prefer this position. It's hard on the knee. It's also a hard position to hold with the hip. So in this position, I want to make sure if I'm in this position, I'm tucking the tailbone under, I'm pushing those hips forward. So if I'm moving laterally, doing anything with my upper torso, my lower torso, I'm maintaining that neutral. But we're not going to demonstrate this. You'll see that in yesterday's video. Today, I'm going to move towards a more modified position. So I'm sitting with both hands, or my legs both bent, and I'm sitting on one hip. So if I was in position, I have a leg down, I place the other leg down, right on top, okay? So from here, I'm just gonna extend it over and then up. Extend it over and up. We're just going to a lateral stretch. That's why we're starting out on the hands. When we move into the sideline work, which we've been doing, I'm gonna have my body positioned down on my elbow versus my arm. So just for the purposes of this stretch, I'm on my hand. Okay. Give me just one more each side. Nice, just working in this lateral position where we're working the body through an angle like we're doing a cartwheel. So we're gonna add to that, I'm gonna move my chair out of my space, take some of my props and move forward. And we're gonna start with that sideline position. So I'm sideline, my bottom knee is bent, my top knee is bent, I have one leg on top of the other. I'm gonna push up through my shoulder. So I'm just like in my hand position. If I was up, I'm gonna push up and do what? Pull that scapula underneath my armpit. So I wanna rotate my shoulders so they're stacked one on top of the other. And think about this bottom scapula, my shoulder blade, pulling forward underneath my armpit. And then I set that shoulder up for stability. We're gonna go with a single leg, top leg, side leg raise. So we're just going with a side leg raise. What are we gonna do with this core? We're gonna make sure we're not collapsing down to the ground, trying to let our rib cage drop to the ground, but instead pull the rib cage up. So we're gonna lift the rib cage up. It's not a big lift on this side leg raise. So toes are facing toward the front wall. Toes would face down towards the floor. That's gonna emphasize more glute and less of this hip flexor. Once the toes turn up, you're gonna feel more stress in the front of the thigh, the quadricep, and in your hip flexor. We want it in the buttocks, and we want it in the back side of the body, not the front, okay? So from here, we're gonna take it to leg circle. Small circle back. This is one of those exercises you can really hone in on this next couple of weeks to develop more endurance in these muscles. So these muscles fatigue out when they're weak. We're really working in that glute medius. And we want that strength in that glute medius because it is one of our stabilizers. Let's reverse the circle. And in order to get that strength, we've really just got to work the muscle. This is a simple way of doing it. This is what we call an open chain exercise. Many of the exercises in this last few weeks has been closed chain, standing, one foot connected to the ground. But my working leg right now is not connected to the ground, so we call that an open chain. Nice. Now from here, you're just going to bring the knee, bend it forward. I'm not bringing it literally to my chest. I'm just bending the knee and I'm pushing it out. Bend the knee, push it out. Bend the knee, drive to the heel. Bend the knee, drive to the heel. Good. Bend the knee, drive to the heel. Keep it going. Bend and then press. Bend and then press. Bend and press. Good. 3 more. Pressing out. You should be feeling this glute quite a bit. That's the goal. We're trying to stimulate that glute muscle. Let those legs rest. You're going to come on up. You're going to grab a weight. Now, my recommendation is a light weight. 1 to 2 pounds, the max. If it's too heavy, pick up a soup can, or you could even use a block. Okay? I'm going to use a 2-pound weight. Coming down to my shoulder. Again, what am I going to do? Pull my scapula underneath my armpit, which is going to rotate my shoulders and stack them. This top leg, I could have it extended, or I could have it bent. I'm going to keep mine bent today. I'm going to focus pulling these ribs up rather than letting them sink to the floor. From here, we're just going to go to a simple side raise. I'm just lifting the arm right through from my hip towards my ear, but I'm not going all the way. Notice I stop well before I hit that parallel point, or that point where my arm is moving directly up toward the ceiling. Good. And I want to be mindful that I don't feel any stress or tension in my neck. So notice how my head, I'm not trying to cock my head up. I'm literally sideline from the top of my head to my tailbone. Give me 3, 2, and then 1. You're going to bring it in, bend the elbow, and now push the arm straight up. So here my arm is straight up, pointing toward the ceiling, and watch what I do. Here's my thumb. I'm going to rotate my thumb toward you. Okay, so there's my thumb pointing towards my windows. I'm going to rotate my thumb towards you. And from here, I'm going to lower my thumb to the floor and then back up. I'm only going to go partially down and then up. I'm going to go as far as I have control. I'm not going to go anywhere past my arm being parallel to the floor. I'm just moving towards the floor and back to the ceiling. This is an excellent rear delt exercise. Now, go back to that stabilizing shoulder. Make sure your scapula is rotating under your armpit, especially as this weight lowers down. Good. You want to make sure you're in control at this point. Don't lose control of that stabilizing shoulder. Give me 2 more. So your stabilizing shoulder is the arm that you are putting your weight on. The moving shoulder is the shoulder that's holding the weight itself. Good. Bring that on in. Here's our external rotation. Very small movement. Rolling up. Now, I was just noticing as I was in this position by stabilizing arm, my elbow, it's a little bit hard on the floor. I could put a soft towel, like a small hand towel underneath my elbow if that is too much pressure on the surface that you're working on. Give me last 2 and last 1. Nice job. Let that go. Come on up. We're going to switch sides. I'm going to take you all the way through both these modifications. So again, watch my sideline position. Knee down, knee down. I'm sitting in a side position. Very simple, no pressure on the knees. Most of my pressure is along the side of my leg. It's very much like sitting on the chair. We don't have a chair to sit on, we don't have a pedal to use. So we're gonna reach and reach. Good. Reaching side to side. So just think of a cartwheel here. We're just working through a side position where the shoulders stay stacked and the hips stay stacked. That's it. Nice stretch, side to side. Give me just 2 more. Excellent. And reach that up. Now we're going to bring that elbow down. So remember, we're going to transition to that sideline series with the leg. I'm going to make sure my elbow is in line with my shoulder. And I'm going to focus on my scapula, the shoulder blade behind me, pulling forward underneath my armpit, which will rotate my shoulder to the top. And then I'm going to go right into that sideline lift. So side leg raise. Toe is going to point downwards so that I emphasize the work on the glute and not here on the front of the leg, but the back, the buttocks. I don't want to feel pressure in the front of this hip. Good. So it's lift and then lower. Lift and lift. And notice it's not a big lift. So our side movement pattern with using that glute medius, it's not a big range of motion. So if you have a big range and you find yourself going up this high, you can see how my hip rotated forward, my toe is up. That would be wrong, okay? So right is right here, very small. It's a very small lift. Now let's go right into our leg circles. Where am I circling? I'm circling behind. Now right here when I moved into my circles and I reset myself, I noticed, oh, I've got to pull this scapula forward underneath my armpit. I tend to want to lean with the shoulder. What's going to happen when I lean with that shoulder? My scapula is going to move back. I want my scapula to move forward. So I want you to focus on that forward pull of the scapula. That will keep those shoulders aligned. Make sure the rib is pulling up. Again, we don't want the rib cage dropping to the floor. Let's reverse our circle. So notice a lot of the cues I'm using right now aren't necessarily what the leg is doing. It's about what's happening at your stabilizer, the shoulders and the core. So it's that scapula is pulling forward underneath the armpit, rotating the shoulders so they're stacked. Rib is up, and I'm working behind. So I'm coming to my midline and circling back. I'm not circling forward because I don't want to stimulate this front hip. I want to stimulate my buttocks, the glute. Give me 3, 2, and 1. Now bring that knee forward. Notice I'm only bringing the knee in line with my hip, not to my chest, and then I'm going to push out. Bring the knee in, push out. Bring the knee in, push out. Again, we are working on developing strength of this glute medius. This is really this exercise series right here, a good one for you to kind of continue on with. We did this a few weeks ago. We've done this standing. We've done this in this lying position. I added in a on the knee position yesterday. So there's a lot of variations that you can work to get this done. Give me last two. In and then press. Stabilizing at the shoulder. Nice job. That hip should be fatigued. So from here, we're going to grab our weight. Again, we're going to stay in this sideline position. We're going to wrap that scapula forward, rotating our shoulders so they're stacked. I'm going to grab my weight. I'm just going to go right into a sideways. It's lift and then lower. Lift and lower. Good. Lift up and then lower. Lifting up and then lower. Lift and lift. Good. Keep that working. Make sure that you're not going too high. Be respectful of the shoulder. Notice I stop about a little less, about more of a 45-degree motion. I'm not trying to go all the way where I'm parallel toward the ceiling. I want to just go partial. Nice. Bring that on in. I'm going to bring my arm in and I'm going to reach up. When I do, here's my thumb. You can see my thumb pointing to that opposite side of the room. Now I'm going to rotate my thumb towards you, towards the camera, and I'm going to bring my arm down toward the floor and then up. Again, I really want to focus here on that bottom scapula, my stabilizing arm, my scapula rotating underneath my armpit. That will help me stabilize my body. If you struggle with this, practice with a yoga block. This is an excellent move to work, to learn how to do. You've got some extra load here out in front of your body. It's causing you to want to rotate, and your shoulder has to stabilize to maintain that. Keep this going. So even though we're focusing on the hip this month, I'm also making sure we're continuing to progress in the shoulder stability. I need to have core, shoulder, and hip stability to have good health and fitness. Give me one more. Nice job. Bring it on in. And we're just going to finish up with that external rotation. Nice. So rotating up. Now again, I'm not going far with this rotation. I'm not trying to bring my hand again so it reaches toward the ceiling. I'm coming halfway up where I feel it, and then I'm releasing it. I'm not trying to tighten or squeeze my elbow down to my side. I have a very relaxed upper arm. Give me 3, 2, and then 1. And release that down. And come on up. Nice job.